I'm John Berman with Brianna Keeler. It is Friday, November 12th, and breaking news. Newly released audio this morning of former President Trump defending the threats made by the January 6th Capitol insurrectionists to hang Mike Pence. Listen to this.
Were you worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape. But no.
You heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, it was,
he could have. Well, the people are very angry.
They're saying, "Hang Mike
Because
Pence."
it's common sense, John. It's common sense that you're supposed to protect. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, right?
Yeah.
How can you pass on a fraudulent vote to Congress?
Trump's remarks were made during a taped interview with Jonathan Karl of ABC News for his new book, Betrayal, which is going to be out next week. Pence was, as you may recall, in the Senate chamber during the insurrection, and then after refusing to stall the certification of the election, he had to, as you can see here, be rushed to safety as rioters breached the Capitol, eventually getting into the Senate chamber, some of them chanting this.
Joining us now, CNN senior political analyst John Avallone and CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. First, John, to you, Donald Trump is justifying the calls to hang Mike Pence.
Yes, we have hit something new in American history. Never before has a president been on record approving of a violent mob trying to kill his vice president. And the reason, I think you want to pull that back is because we get numb to Donald Trump's insanity and lies sometimes. But this is a ex-president effectively endorsing and rationalizing the murder of his vice president as a means to overturning an election to keep him in power. This is so sick that it is worth stopping and paying attention. And also, for any Republicans who are listening, if you are still backing this man for president in 2024, you're endorsing this. You own this if you still support it.
There's no ambiguity in what he just said there. It's a single entendre. These people are chanting, hang Mike Pence, and Donald Trump says, yeah, man, I understand why.
Oh, more than that, it's common sense. It's common sense usually in most sane people's minds to, defend the Constitution, defend your vice president. He says it's common sense to want to hang Mike Pence.
Ellie, I think in hearing this, there's a whole legal can of worms that's been opened here, maybe on several fronts. First and foremost, the very first part of what Donald Trump said was that he was being updated on the vice president's condition. And we've had some reporting that Donald Trump was watching the insurrection on TV, and Maggie Haberman or others are saying he liked what he saw. But this is the former president saying he was being updated as to what was going on there. How significant is that?
Yeah, John, that's a crucial fact. Big picture, first of all, this is a constitutional nightmare. This is a constitutional worst-case scenario, the utter madness of a president, as John just said, who's endorsing, supporting these people who are attacking his vice president. Now, to the specific point, what it goes to is the president's intent. And this is what investigators in Congress need to be thinking about and in the Justice Department. People who are defending the president have said when he stood in front of that rally, when he said, be there January 6th, we'll be wild, when he said, we're going to go down to Congress and we're going to, we're going to fight like hell. Defenders of the president have said, well, what he meant is go down there and picket and carry signs and exercise political speech. However, this shows that they were doing, when they were in there breaking windows and attacking the vice president, they were doing exactly what Donald Trump wanted and hoped and intended. And that issue of intent should be at the heart of any congressional inquiry or any prosecutorial inquiry.
It has specific relevance to things that are being considered or deliberated today, right now. It has to do with the executive privilege claims and the possible contempt by former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, former advisor Steve Bannon, not to mention these documents that the January 6th committee wants to get its hands on. How does this new audio impact all of that?
Oh, it's an absolute reminder of the vital importance of what Congress is doing today, right now, at this hour. This is why it's so important that we, the public, hear testimony from the inner circle. I don't care how loyal they are to Donald Trump. Meadows, Scavino, Bannon, all these people who were physically with him on January 6th, they need to come forward. They need to be compelled if necessary. Yes. And if they're not willing, they need to be prosecuted, because it is vital that we know what Donald Trump was doing during the attack on January 6th. That will tell the story. All the spin in the world doesn't matter. If he was there cheering them on, pleased, supporting them, like we just heard in that tape, that's obviously a violation of his constitutional duty, and I argue that's criminal as well.
Fundamental violation of the constitutional obligation, of course. And look, the issue of a president cheering on, in effect, a violent mob trying to kill his vice president is nothing that's remotely covered by executive privilege. This is everybody's business. This goes to the heart of our democracy, and all the documents must be released, and all the testimony must be compelled. There's nothing more serious than this, and any Republican who tries to put their head in the sand. And I'll be interested, by the way, what Mike Pence says about this. Because his impulse has been to say...
You want to bet?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, you and I are both going to take the under.
Yeah.
Right? Because Mike Pence is going to find a way to rationalize his boss calling for his own execution. And if that's not emasculating and disqualifying in addition, I don't know what is. That's just pathetic.
We see this day differently.
Yeah.
I
don't hear this tape the same way some people.
It's like the song.
He cares about my feelings.
It's like the song from Chicago, and I can't remember the exact name. It was the tango, like I saw him as living, or he saw himself as living. I saw him as dead. That's how they see things differently
yes.
here. Again, single entendre. The former president of the United States justifying those who wanted to hang the former vice president. That's what just happened. John, Ellie, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Still ahead, a judge throwing the book at a Capitol rioter who punched a cop. His lawyer will join us live.